And welcome. We are Lost Caravan RPG. We do one shots, we do mini campaigns, we rock out to super awesome music, and we do long running campaigns. If it's TTRPG, we kind of try to like to do it all. Today, we are playing an absolutely amazing game called Locus. It is a horror TTRPG made by the amazing people over at Cobblepath Games. They are just fantastic. They're super nice and just beyond creative. If you like if you like horror TTRPG specifically, I would very much recommend go checking out their itch.io page, where you can get your own copy and experience this awesome horror that we're experiencing here today. But a few quick announcements before we get into the rolling dice and trying to kill all my friends. Kill my friends' characters, I should specify.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm flattered or hurt.
Tomorrow we have a level 10 Pathfinder 2nd edition game. We're hunting down an old alchemist lab and all the fun that goes along with that. And our good, amazing friends at Hangman's Gate RPG just subscribed for the 2nd month. Love you, buddy. On, of course, Saturday, we have our regular game of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It's an early morning game, which is why I think that is the one game that makes up like the 5% of our viewers that's from the UK. Which is super weird, but very cool. On Sunday, we have 2 games of Lancer, because that's just an amazingly fun game. If you love giant robots, go check that out. And then next week, we have more Pathfinder, more Locus, more Lancer, and yeah, then we're pretty much into next month. Holy cow, we're getting up there. Kind of crazy. But speaking of next month's schedule, the casting call is still up. The schedule isn't fully set yet. We're getting everything structured and all the games ready. But if you like what we do and you want to join us, you can follow the link Discord down below. That's where we do all of our casting calls, we post all our schedules, and where we just generally hang out and be giant nerds. Because that's what I do. If I'm not being a nerd on camera, I'm being a nerd off camera. You don't turn it off.
Like cats. Everyone posts their cats.
Mm-hmm. So many.
That's not a reason enough.
Ah, boy. But I think that's pretty much it for announcements. Throw it over to camera 1 and let my wonderful guests here introduce themselves, and then we'll pick it off. Starting with Heck.
Everybody, it's me, Sir Heckalot. As per usual for this month, I am playing Dr. Macy Donahue, the microbiologist. Hashtag not that kind of doctor. That's it. Let's keep on keeping on.
Heck yeah. Over to Dave.
Hey everybody, I am Dave from Hangman's Gate RPG. I will be playing Connor Sharp. He's efficient at murder and has wonderful friends.
Best description ever. Over to James.
Hello, I'm James, and I'm going to be playing Stefan, a noble engineer that has been trying to crack down on some theories for what has been happening, and is obviously the smartest and, the most in line of my fellow compatriots. Mm-hmm. I don't die ever. It's never happened. 3 games in a row.
May notice a distinct lack of a fourth crew member. That is because where we left off was not doing so good after, oh, just so much trauma. So much happened last session that doing a recap, short of just spending our entire session today just going over what happened last time, we couldn't do it justice. So if you haven't seen the two previous episodes to this, highly recommend that you go and check them out. VODs are still on our Twitch, and they're going to be going up on YouTube if you're watching this after the fact. So yeah, either way, go check them out. But we'll not hear from Tessa, as duty calls, life finds a way. Let's kick off this wonderfully cheery music. Not that one. That's not. That's what I wanted. Very, very wonderfully named Murder in the Dark.
Murder in this game?
Never.
More likely than you think.
Murder in this economy? So, speaking of last session, having been kicked out of the private refuge where dozens of survivors of your spaceship, your home, they were gathered after some virus, some calamity, some mutation, something just ravaged through the entirety of the ship, causing people to go insane, to attack each other, to have visions of monsters, of just in general full-blown mass psychosis. The survivors had locked themselves away in the engineering bay and weren't all too keen on all the questions being asked by the crew, so very politely asked them to step out and then lock the door behind them. Our intrepid adventurers here decided to return to their ship, see what they could gather in ways of fuel, maybe get out of here. That is when, I believe it was Macy that first had the visions of an alternate space, possibly a dream world, as I believe we've referred to it a few times, where you all did land on the ship. Well, not safely. You landed, but you crash landed. And Macy, your injuries were mostly superficial, short of one of your forearms being pretty severely cut up. But the rest of the crew were being hauled off to surgery. They didn't fare quite so well from the impact, and learned that even in this world, this reality, whatever it is, there's a very similar thing going around, where people will see hallucinations of a nightmare world. They'll see these horrific monsters and visions, and it drives them to pure madness. But a majority of the ship is fine. People are still going about their day. There are sections of the ship that have been quarantined, but otherwise, it's fine. Had very little impact. One by one, you all have seen this. All been to the dream world. Now, whether or not that's real, and this nightmare reality is the dream world, no one really knows. Maybe neither are real, maybe both are real. Either way, you spent your time hopping between both, finding out that what happens in one does indeed happen in the other, as Stefan nearly died from surgery complications. But from both sides, from the nightmare world And the dream world, he was resuscitated by two different friends. After that, you all convened back into the dream world, where Olivia felt this odd sensation of hands running from her face down to her shoulder, down her arms, and then felt herself being drugged. Even though she was physically sitting there, physically fine, something was happening to her back in the nightmare existence. That was when Connor decided to enter the nightmare, found the doctor that you had shot to pieces, that you had physically blown a hole in the center of his chest. He was up, he was moving, and there was this fungus that was starting to repair that hole that you had shot. And he kept saying that he was going to cut it away, saying that she was still connected to the bad place. But he was going to sever that connection. He was going to help her. And you, of course, weren't having any of that. So you shot him again. This time, he didn't drop. There was, in fact, no blood even. It was more of that fungal growth that just took up the shape of his body. Use that opportunity to grab Olivia, hoist her onto your shoulder, and flee back to the ship. Not wanting to be separated, Macy and Stefan joined you, Nightmare. And where we left off, they had reached the top of the elevator and were approaching the back of their spacecraft. Because in the Nightmare, your ship is fully intact. You landed safely. Add loud some. As Connor were sitting there, rifle in hand, with Olivia to your left in her own private quarters, sleeping. Propped up in a chair, just staring at the hatch at the back of your ship. You would hear the beeping of the emergency open code be entered in the control panel. The hydraulics hissing, and then that massive, multi-layered steel panel slowly start to descend.
I will stay seated in the chair but raise the rifle in the direction of the door.
Okay. Does finally come down enough that you can see who's standing there. It is Macy and Stefan.
I'll lower it. Guess you decided to take a nap, huh?
At least to stay together. With threats like whatever was going on, having an explanation of what happened with the arm touching stuff would be great, but just staying together when there are threats like that, I think, is probably the best course of action. Yeah.
Yeah, remember creepy doctor with the poems that I murdered?
Oh yeah, the one that's
Yeah.
definitely dead.
Definitely not dead. Definitely was the one that was dragging her off. Oh, and this time, bullets don't kill him. But they did slow him down enough for me to get back and get her to her room. She's been through enough right now. Shit. No one's over there with her. Well, at least it's safer than here unless she says the wrong thing. I learned that one the hard way.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Over there, I'm locked up though, so not very good on that side.
Yeah.
Although I have plans on that, but my value is decreased a little bit, unfortunately. Oh, and in case you're wondering, we can't carry stuff back and forth from one side to the other.
Dunno.
I do wonder something though. If this is a dream, right? Why can't we materialize things? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm dreaming, I can believe that I fly, and all of a sudden, I can fly. I can imagine there's a baseball bat in my hand, and there would be one.
Not to, not to worry anyone, but we were granted something in chat.
God, is it another film?
I don't know what you're talking about.
At least it wasn't Zach. That knife feels so much worse when it comes from Zach.
Our good friend DeBeardo. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks to Beardo. You want to go for 4 sessions of killing characters?
Oh my god.
No, I didn't die last
Oh.
last night.
Fine.
I was this close.
If anyone has any items that they used last session, now would be the time to roll for its durability.
I don't think I used any items. Apparently, he screamed and yelled my way out of everything.
We agreed that we're going to use ammo tracker, which is 1 for the rifle.
Okay. Also, everyone can draw your 2 cards.
2 cards?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like that sound. But I did
Draw.
get 2 virtues, so that's like +6 will.
I don't know
So
if this
now
actually
I have 11.
cancels out or not, but I got a virtue and a hunt, so
You could just discard the virtue.
it,
And of
it
course,
gives
take the willpower.
Oh, I have so many cards.
it gives me a little more strength to deal with the hunt. I guess there's that.
So, now that we are down a person, that does bring the interesting mechanics of we only use the hand sizes of the characters that are present. So, Macy, how many cards you got?
N.
10. Starting off strong. Stefan.
10.
Solid 20. Connor?
10.
Yeah, we hit 30.
Oh my god.
Without Olivia.
If you're curious, 6 of them are hunts.
I have 1, 2. Yeah, same 6 are for me are haunts.
I have 3. Rest are neutral.
It's 15. That works out nicely. Guess anyone needs this today. Even magic.
I thought you had the other one.
I have multiple.
Hmm.
So, give you sitting there, Olivia, a chance to recuperate your body and mind, both having gone through so much. What the 3 of you like to do?
Any ideas?
Trying to think where we haven't gone around here. We've, we're headed towards, I believe, either the fuel stores or maybe the mess hall.
Well, fuel stores as a whole is apparently destroyed on this side, but maybe we could find scraps, put it together, and get out. But I suggest we kind of get to know our surroundings in both worlds and figure out which one's real or if they're both real. At this point, I'm keeping all possibilities on the table.
Mhm.
On a secondary note, and I pull the magazine out of the rifle, I got one left.
That is not so good.
So maybe an armory.
Yeah,
Nothing
is there
could
like a
go-
directory? Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say nothing can go wrong there, right?
Yeah. You all are from ship, so more or less you'd all know your way around. Also do have access to basic comms, basic your terminal access, including maps.
All right. Through the little directory, then see if we can find anything that would tell us where additional ammo is.
Yep. And you do know how to get to security from here. You'd also have the means of getting into the other cargo bays, where if you were going to siphon fuel, that's where you'd put from. Of course, you do have the mess hall. That you did see very unusual sights of a bunch of different creatures that were absolutely tearing through the mess hall last elevator ride, and went to look at it again. They were all gone, nothing out of place. Like there was one other thing that we were all planning last session. Don't remember.
That's about all I can remember other than my secret hidden plans. That didn't work out.
Oh.
I mean, I was gonna try to investigate into a leading cause of all this. Find more of a research lab than the doctor's medical bay.
Figure
Oh.
now is the time. Oh, sorry.
No, I figured if we can figure out if this reality is real, then the better.
Figure now's the time for us to get all the answers we can while we let her rest. Because I want to leave too, but I want to know what I'm leaving to. Is everything going to be like this if we leave from here, or is this a place we can escape from? So my vote is stock up on some weapons and try to investigate the mess hall. Plus, rations are running low, so it wouldn't hurt to have some food in case we're going to be here for a while.
Agreed.
We also kind of forgot about this, but did anyone take any new abilities after having survived last session?
I took a skill called pulling rank that I totally didn't steal from Lancer.
Good to know.
Yeah, despite being hashtag not that kind of doctor, I did take first aid. I resuscitated someone twice.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. I actually have to get approval from you.
Sure.
Well, it won't let me go back and fix my typo, so there you go. corresponding to the friend he has.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, awesome.
All right. And one of our wonderful moderators, who usually likes to sow chaos, is instead giving you all the ability to make me rerolls. Have a use of Defy the God. Thanks, buddy. So you have a few different possible destinations. Where to?
So, Cap, can you better defend this wall while we leave so that we know nothing will get in besides us?
I'm sorry, who?
Oh, I called you Cap. I'm still not
Oh,
calling
'cause
you
I'm
by
the
your.
captain.
I'm still not
Oh,
calling you by
yeah.
your real name, but I've moved to nicknames instead of butchering yours.
I can definitely do with Cap. Uh, I will try to figure out a reinforcement strategy. That will be hard to disable the elevator, but that is possible.
I was just thinking stack something heavy on top of it.
Chill and muscle. I mean,
Yeah, but that's going to require engineering, not muscle. I
I
can't lift a ton.
okay, that's fair. Um, can I like search for? I don't know, Dick, about elevators beyond the history of them. So
Oh,
I sorry,
I
go
was
ahead.
more meaning like the cargo bay door to the ship. Not so much keep anybody out of the cargo bay, just keep them out of the ship since she's sleeping on there.
Gotcha. Okay, so I know we have some very like heavy equipment that I can definitely throw up in front of that, and so that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, absolutely. You could also put it into a semi-permanent lockdown until the code that you would all have to create on the spot and only should be known to the four of you would break said lockdown.
Cool. I will put it on semi-permanent lockdown.
Give Macy a second to get back. Anything else
Is
that you would like to do while you're here on the ship?
Can I go back to the pilot's bay and find the little dinosaurs and put them back in their rightful place?
Yeah. Small gesture, but that brings even the smallest amount of comfort right now. Something. Speaking of comfort, Macy, with your ship being unpowered for so long, your robotic companion, Obi, I believe his name was,
Mhm.
is sitting on his charging pad, but you can tell that has maybe enough charge to come back online one more time, and then it's fully gone. Might be muted.
I'm
Oh, no,
there we
there
go.
you are.
No, I don't think I am. Yeah. I don't know if or when we'll be coming back over here. So yeah, I'll decide to boot Moby up for a little bit.
Be genuinely happy to see you. Little 8-inch tall cleaning slash lab assistant android that, as soon as is awake, would, start going around the lab looking for piles of dust that have started to collect. Started just randomly sweeping, or occasionally just coming up to you, using his little sweeper arms. Just kind of that hello gesture, going back to work.
He acting weirdly other than that at all, like he was before with like the circling.
He does seem to be sweeping and cleaning at areas where it doesn't look like there's anything wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Macy is just going to kind of let him do his thing. Kind of watch until he goes.
As Stefan take those few moments to reorganize the cockpit, Connor, you take one more look over Olivia to make sure that she's alright. The two of you start headed towards the back of the ship, passing by Macy's laboratory, and see little Moby start just very slowly rolling his way towards the center of the room. And then the arms just hanging there, fully powers down. Sits there, motionless.
Well, now we're definitely going to have to get the power back on. We'll miss the little guy.
Like I said, best piece of equipment on the ship.
Everyone ready?
Guess we kind of have to be.
Stepping out, enacting the temporary lockdown. Know that at least for the next hour or so, even you, with the code to break the lockdown, wouldn't be able to get back into the ship. Part of that safety protocol. It's meant to be a temporary quarantine if you need it, a lockdown for a prisoner transport, whatever it is. It's meant to at least hold its passengers an hour, and then the emergency lockdown can. But you step back out into the large cargo bay where you had landed your ship. Still as empty as you remember it. Tapping the glass from the command console up above. Gone.
While we're here, I'm going to do a quick scan to see if there's fuel reserves that I had missed. That I'll probably miss again, but I should look anyway.
The fuel system connected to this room, I don't actually know how well you all inspected that, but there would be a little left in it. Basically, reserves that were still stuck in the pipes when the main system went up, exploded. Not enough to get you far, but better than nothing.
Very true.
Might as well go ahead and put that in so we can have a few minutes of power if nothing else. Can we fuel when it's locked down? Since that's outside the ship, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and take care of that. That way we can turn the lights on one more time when we go back in there.
That crane and lift system that's connected to the spider web of rafters above you would have bring the hose over, bring it down onto the top of the ship, connect it, and you'd hear the very small amount of fuel that was left in the system empty itself into your ship. The hose disconnect. Those wires and trains lift back up into the ceiling and return to their resting place.
All right. To security.
To security.
Since I would know that area the best, I guess I will lead.
Now venturing into a part of the ship that you haven't yet back, which is through the bay doors back into the main part of the ship, ignoring the elevator entirely. Some of you may be relieved. You hit the console, open those bay doors. Nothing.
I can see if there's power going to it. Is it like, is it powered? Or is it not powered? Is that why it's not working, or is it locked? Why it's not working?
You just tap the console a few times, and you do see that there are lights that flicker. It looks like it's getting some power, but maybe not enough. Or maybe you just have to brute force it. Would you all roll your carelessness? Medium.
That is a success.
That is not. But I'm going to try again.
That willpower. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a success.
Oh,
Yes, that is a success.
Success.
You all see around the edges of this metallic blast door. It's only maybe 6.5 feet tall, about 3 feet wide, and it's two metal sheets that seal shut. And when it's opened, they just part. That seam at the middle, you see this along the entire length of it. Like it's trying to force its way in between the doors, but they're sealed tight enough that it's just barely seeping.
All right. You guys should probably step back. And I'm going to look for rebar, crowbar, anything that I can jam in there.
Yeah.
And then I'll look back to the two of them and see how far back they are.
I think that's up to you. How far back would you like to be?
as he looks back, like I'm just like continuing until he says to stop.
All right, so 6-foot door, 3-foot wide. Yeah, I'm guessing you should be at least 20 feet back.
Makes sense.
And somebody save me if this goes wrong. And I will attempt to break that seal.
A hard frailty check, please.
Good?
Oh,
Well, it's a 1.
yeah, your frailty is very good.
It's literally don't roll a 1.
You jam the crowbar in, finding that point you know that if you can get it unlatched, that the rest of the door should just come open. Being that this is probably not the first time you've had to force your way through one of these doors before. There's enough of a gap there that the bladed edge of that crowbar just sinks in. Throw the weight onto it. Hear that click of metal, and then hear the decompression of the doors and a slight grinding of metal on metal, of having probably not been open in quite some time. switch to everyone's favorite music.
Oh,
As the
All right, so-
I
doors
just realized I'm not in the foundry.
swing open, both of the metal plates coming to rest on the edge of the door frame. The other side, where there should be just a hallway, are rows of teeth lining the floor and the ceiling. What should just be a carpet or a rug, something that stretches along the middle of the corridor, is a 12, 14-foot long tongue. As soon as the
Oh.
doors are open, it just snakes out and then lashes towards you, Connor. With
I'm sorry, did you say tongue?
a tongue. For those of you that are
Yeah.
familiar with fantasy tropes, imagine a hallway that is a mimic.
Yep.
Would you all roll 3d6 and subtract your... I always forget which one it is. Your clumsiness.
It's clumsiness.
Oh boy. Okay. Great. 7.
I see. Strong 7.
11.
11.
And a nice middle ground of 10.
That is going to put the pit at the top of initiative. Its tongue reaching out, snaking towards your legs. And then even as your mind is taking the time to comprehend what's happening, it fully shoots up between your legs, up to your waist, shooting around your hips, up, fully encompassing from like the top of your legs up to the bottom of your rib cage, and just squeezes, and is going to try to pull you into its mouth. Would you make a frailty check versus its attack roll? I just need to know how many successes you got.
3.
I rolled 3 1s.
Damn. What a crit fail.
It brings you forward just a couple inches, but you plant yourself against the door frame, crowbar just jammed up like just a brace there in the doorway, keeping you from being pulled in any further. Though from here you can see deeper into the maw as it just goes further and further. You see the burned remains of bodies. You see, much like outside of the ship, individuals just floating. Their bodies look like they were killed by decompression. Half-adorned spacesuits, cracked helmets. They just float there. And that puts us down to 11, which I believe was Connor.
Yeah, so... No, I'm going to do this the way Connor would, even though it's a terrible idea. And the crowbar that I'm using to brace myself...
Bonk.
Into the
will stab
tongue?
straight in. And I'm going to pierce its tongue.
Yeah, go for it.
People will have to pay for that.
That's not too bad, but safety first, and I'm going to try to get rid of that one. Okay, yeah, that's 3 successes.
Yeah. Crowbar just jams down into the tongue, causing a gurgle from inside this impossibly long mouth. It's definitely pinned there. You can feel its grip loosening around your waist. But as long as you've got the crowbar in it, it's... You and it aren't going anywhere.
All right, I'm just going to keep pushing the crowbar down.
And it's like driving a stake through a sponge. There's very, very small amount of blood or viscera. It's just almost like this thick sap, but pure green that seeps out of the wound. That moves us down to Stefan.
Can I see, like, how do I put this? Like a clear source from where this is coming from? Like, or is it just tongue? I'm trying to assess the situation, if that's in a more like technical term.
Well, your carelessness.
Yeah, sure. I succeed.
Sorry, I should have specified an easy carelessness, which definitely would have succeeded.
Oh, I still beat across the board anyways. So.
Stare off, see the tongue. You follow it with your eyes. You'd see the floating bodies mixed in with the burnt remains a good 30-40 feet down into the hallway. And then at the very back, barely visible, you would see a door.
Okay. I'm gonna yell out, "There's a door on the other end. Make it to there!" And I'm gonna just take a full sprint towards the door.
Your feet step voluntarily into the maw. They sink down a good inch or so with every step, as if you were walking on just fully wet sponge.
Okay, dude, gross. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
The rows of teeth that line the edges of the floor and the edges of the ceiling almost quiver as you voluntarily step in. Get about halfway down, and then we're going to move to Macy.
well, hearing that and seeing what everyone's doing, like, fine. And it's just going to start going down. Though her strategy to maybe not get eaten is to take one of the small bottles of isopropyl alcohol that's probably in her first aid kit and just kind of like pour it like in her vicinity as like she's going down, so she is not appetizing at all. She's not she is not going to get grabbed by that tongue. It's just gonna try to get to the door.
Anywhere that lands, it immediately starts to sizzle and smoke, causing a very acrid scent of burnt leather in your wake. There's absolutely a visceral response of the tongue, almost like a flat serpent on the ground, starting to reel back away from the burning. Definitely less appetizing. But that will bring us back to the top, which is pit. Having two of you inside of its maw, one of you still attached at the tongue, even though it's trying to let you go. It's going to turn the teeth inwards towards the two of you. And like little vestigial stalks, the teeth just start to hang down loosely, and then all whip in your direction, filling the air with just these bladed tendrils. Would both of you roll your clumsiness, please, versus its attack?
Oh boy. Okay.
Much better.
Oh no.
Power, because I have 11 of those guys.
Oh no. I'm gonna use some willpower because, oh no.
And now I'm down to 9.
Like for reference, this roll, I have a clumsiness of 2. I rolled 2 1s and a 2. And I was like, nope, we're not gonna do that. Okay, I will I will take those 3 successes over 3 failures. Oh my god.
2 successes.
Your pouring of this substance as you've been walking has given you enough space that even the teeth at the ends of these stalks, they don't fully want to enter that area. You're able to just duck, dart in between them, and pass by without much more than your jacket getting cut up just a little bit. Stefan almost managing to repeat that. You duck and dart through most of them, catching a handful of deep lacerations along your collarbone, along your cheeks, arms, legs. Nothing all too serious. But you can mark off 1 pip of your death's door tracker for minor laceration.
Okay.
And yeah, Connor, it's just the tongue is gonna loosen around you, and it is doing its best to retract. With the crowbar through it, it is still retracting, but it's almost like a zipper that's undoing in front of you as the tongue just rips itself along the crowbar. And Connor, you're up.
Alright, so I'm going to try to catch up with my friends, but I will use the crowbar like it's a walking cane as I do so. Just
Yeah. Despite what may be your better instincts, march into the mouth of this thing. Stefan?
I was gonna continue running, but try to use like heavier stops so it hurts more when I move.
You'd reach the end of the door, or so the end of the hallway, at the base of the blast door. The console next to it glowing with a very luminescent red. You see that it is awaiting the proper commands, the proper safety protocols, proper clearance before the door can be opened.
Do I have the proper? Because I'm technically a noble.
Not for this. You were never part of the security team.
Do I know if smashing it will do any good here? Like force it open kind of way.
You can certainly try.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Okay.
What do I roll here? Frailty?
Let's go with a medium temper check.
That's a success.
You see flashes on the console. It's asking for the proper security command. It's asking for the proper stages of depression, of decontamination. Stages required to enter a high-class security checkpoint. And you start physically bashing against certain parts of the consoles, parts that you believe will help to bypass this, ignoring the safety menu. As you just hit it again, you see that the words in the console flash, flicker, and it would eventually change to a small security cam. Most of the console is still there, still asking for input, but part of it would also come up with a visual of a security camera. of the couple that had been kicked out of the refugee camp in engineering. You see them just hiding away in a small, looks like a decompression chamber. See the alarm start to go off. You'd recognize that the brute forcing that you're doing through this door is causing almost identical bypassing of safety measures there. And we'll jump to Macy.
Oh no. Okay. I'm just gonna keep running down the hallway then until I'm back
Yeah.
up there.
You'd come to the door, seeing Stefan just absolutely losing it on this console, and then stopping.
What is it?
If you bypass security in one place, apparently it's rigged to bypass it everywhere.
Oh.
And I don't have the credentials to get in this.
I don't think I do either. She looked through a key card, but it's probably not programmed to get into this.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any way just to cut the electrical supply to it? Is like, are there like wires or something that are
Oh, yeah.
visible?
Plenty.
The potential risk of that is if I cut the wrong one, we're permanently locked out. No amount of bashing could. I'm assuming that it's locked through electromagnetic seal.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out on my next turn.
Macy,
two
anything?
additions.
Anything else?
I mean, I don't think I know anything like this, but can I look and see what wire might look like the right one? I don't know.
Yeah. Make a carelessness check. Medium.
Alright, cool. Yeah, no.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking over the console. There are dozens of wires. And with your very specific viewpoint, very specific studies, it almost looks like the wires that are running to this thing and into the wall look like veins and arteries. Alright. Well, that will bring us back to the top. Back to the pit. Now with 3 of you in its maw, all 3 of you trapped at the back of its throat, more or less. It's going to let those teeth start to dangle down, though it looks like they're mostly focused on Connor. You also see that the entryway, door that you had come in, the light starts to fade, all closes, its teeth being brought together, again like a zipper, this time towards you all, the teeth locking in place, cascading their way towards you. So, Connor, would you roll your clumsiness, please?
Two.
Also got 2. Short of a few cuts in your clothing that you may need to sew up, if you care about that, managed to get through more or less unscathed. But you'd get to that door, you'd see the 2 of them looking over this console, and Looks like they're trying to find a way through, but neither of them seem to be having much luck.
I will not violently, but not gently push Stefan to the side and try to get into the main system of the door with the new skill.
Yeah. Roll your ignorance, please. Medium.
Willpower.
Okay.
Medium, you say?
Medium. You'd type in a few commands, and you'd get to kind of the root system of the security operations that it's trying to run through, that it wants the clearance to run through. And you'd find the key to making it believe that all of the security is properly done and that's free to open the door. See the door on the small console, small security cam, shut. And the older man and woman get up, run to the door, and just start pounding on it. That's all you'd like to do. Jump down to Stefan.
So, I'm sorry, can you repeat what happened that caused the couple to run start bashing on the door, please?
Yeah. That. Reach the end of the hall. See that the more that you have forced this system through, the more that you have brute forced your way into bypassing the necessary measures, to willfully skipping necessary steps. The more that you force past that, the more that the emergency systems are activating wherever they are in response. So, not only getting access to the terminal itself through brute force, but physically hacking past the securities, hacking past the credentials, all of that, while successful in this end, causing their end to malfunction.
So, can we now get into the room because of this, or is there one final check that we have to make?
Yeah. Absolutely have the ability to force the door to open.
I'm not responsible for what happens to him, and then I will force the door open.
As your door slides open, revealing the security office behind. See the door, the opposite end of where they've been banging, slide open. And in a flash, the two of them are pulled out of the room. Zipping of the jaws that have been slowly tightening stops. Start to undo. The hull starting to turn back into metal rather than spongy flesh. That strip of carpet running down the length of the center of the hallway starting to revert, come to rest, back where it should. door is open. You all seem more or less unscathed.
All right, once we go through, is it possible to seal that door behind us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever measures may have been able to keep it closed are gone. Just the door. Once you step inside, you would see the rows of bunks that typically house the security teams here, the rows of computer consoles and monitors that they use to keep an eye on various places, as well as the armory itself. Almost locker room like part of the ship, where everyone store their weaponry, store their body armor, their communications, their cams, anything to do with their job would be locked in their individual lockers.
Did you say shopping spree? That's what I heard.
Up to you.
Okay, one. What the fuck was that? That's a new one.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Two. If things like that exist, we all need to be prepared for them. And I start
Agreed.
breaking open lockers until I find armor that fits everyone and a weapon that they're comfortable with.
Move from locker to locker, finding most of them empty, though each one containing the personal effects of the security team that used to live here. Pictures, notes, jackets. Find, eventually, a pair of sidearms and a reload for your own rifle. Back the full 6 rounds.
All right. I know you've gotten comfortable using one. Are you okay with this? I'm looking at Macy.
There's something, small that I could use.
Yeah, it's just a little sidearm, personal use.
Yeah, I could deal with the small one, at least. Hopefully.
All right. I'm gonna go look at the computers. You guys come up with any ideas that'll help us? Let me know. I'm just gonna try to get my bearings. What's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try to see any cameras that would give me any indication of what's on the other side of this room.
So, give you a little bit of the physical layout of the room. It's almost like an upside down T. As soon as you step in to the left, that's kind of your barracks area. Off to your right, that's where the armory and the security consoles are. But the hallway does extend further ahead of you. Those doors are closed, but you would know that they would lead to the officer personnel areas, basically. Most of the security consoles are powered down, but you would find enough that are still active. You'd get a view of the docking bay. Um, sorry, it looked my OBS was trying to crash there for a second, but I think we're good.
Stream seems to be live.
Yeah.
Okay, it just scared me, but it
Fear.
looks like it's fine. You can see the cameras for your own docking bay where your ship is, which of course that camera can cycle through all of the docking bays. So the fact that it was specifically set to yours, maybe a coincidence, not. You'd of course have access to the various floors that you've been to, from engineering to the medical bay to the mess hall. Most of the ship looks like it was set off to quarantine, and those areas, anything outside looks about as monstrous as you would expect. You pass by 5 or 6 different cameras showing hallways full of people, but driven past the point of insanity, of just attacking each other, of attacking walls, sprinting through corridors, screaming, all of them just these bloody messes.
Doesn't look much better on the other side. Macy. Oh, well, actually, I guess I should probably ask before I do this. Did I see her with the alcohol and the effect that it had on it? Because I would have been looking in at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time. Yeah. Okay. Did that seem as effective to you as it looked to me with the alcohol?
I think so.
What if we got a whole bunch of it?
I mean, isopropyl is pretty common. Get it basically anywhere, not just medical. It'd be in the labs too.
What about? Did I see any first aid equipment in the lockers whenever I was going through them?
Anything you did would be the very bare minimum of
Okay.
temporary sutures, butterfly bandages, like the pressure wraps.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Makes sense.
I mean, a lot of things are just alcohol based to begin with too. Hand sanitizer even.
What about? So would I know if there was any labs or residential on the other side of this door?
Oh yeah, there's definitely other labs throughout the ship. The one that you've been to is not the only one.
Yeah.
The
Well,
fact,
specifically none. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
just the fact that there's thousands of people that live on. Wow, the Calamity. That's the name of the ship.
The Oblivion.
Oblivion. Yes, thank you. Thousands of people that lived on the Oblivion. Basically, a habitation ship. Um, yeah, there'd be multiple medical wings, research labs for hundreds of medical students, medical professionals, doctors that live and work on this ship.
Specifically, my concern is that we don't have to go back through the mall to get to them.
The mall cleared up. It turned back into just a hallway.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My bad. I misunderstood there.
All good.
Well, that changes that entire plan. We don't need to defeat them all now.
Aha.
Stefan, I for the previous scene, I will give you 2 willpower, but have you draw a card for engaging Vice.
That was my advice. I forget my own character.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I know what the hell you mean. Okay, so 2 willpower, so back to 11.
The OBS is not having it today. I hope this doesn't translate to choppiness on the stream, but I apologize if it does.
Okay. That is a neutral. Yeah, neutral. I had to double check.
I might restart all of this on the break. It is.
Did you go to like early break?
Yeah, we could do that.
I'd rather have like this. We're already at that like almost hour and a half mark, anyways. So.
Well, yes. So we're gonna go to a quick break. I'm going to start OBS, probably my computer, see what the heck is going on, and we'll be right back. I am gonna have to close the stream to do that, but the stream is immediately gonna come back up, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.